Hey Chevette Nation, we got all kinds of awesomeness on this episode. We have a new rear end, the old rear end out, new rear end strips. Didn't get it put together, welded up and put in yet. Now you got something to look forward to next time. Engine mounts completed, things marked off of the list. The engine is in the car. We got tires, and matching tires now. 16s in the back, 15s up front. It was a long weekend. Stay tuned. Watch how much wind there is. And don't forget to tell your friends, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters, your mom, your dad, that weird guy at the gym, you know, the guy who's always walking around in his underwear. Don't forget to tell him too. I'll have them all tune in, because we got awesomeness going on. Got awesome everywhere. A guy from work has been after me about this rear end. He wants this empty case. I give up. I don't know why. They're not that strong. The only reason it was working for me is because this weighs nothing. So finally I gave in. I got to thinking about it. Said, I still got to narrow this thing. I still got to spend money on gears because I didn't like the gears that was in it. Plus the fact of the way that it was jammed and crammed in there. Never shimmed properly. It was forced in. I think they used a press. In reality, the only thing this thing had going for it was disc brakes and the mounts up here for the torque arm. So I got to thinking about it. I was like, this thing is more of a pain in the ass than it's worth. And it was only 50 bucks. So what I did, I called up Edison's, the local scrapyard, asked them how much an S10 rear end is going to cost me. $85, you pull it. I told old boy, I'll sell you this empty rear end for 85 bucks. No brakes. I'll go ahead and give him the axle shafts. I don't need them. But no brakes, no gears, no posi for 85 bucks. He jumped all over it. So tomorrow, this goes to him. He gives me 85 bucks, and on my way home from work, I'm stopping at the junkyard. Done. Terrific. I'm a half mile away from the junkyard, and this happens. Gotta love it. Well, that didn't go to plan. Some of you will recognize that differential that's sitting beside me on my cart is the same one that I had before, the Camaro unit. When I got to the junkyard, even though it was pouring down rain, they said I could not take grinders or cutting torches into the yard. I can understand they don't want fires, but it was raining. I tried using a battery-powered impact to remove the rear end. There was not a whole lot of wind involved in that. My plan now... Come on now. Last one. That was insane. Literally, as soon as I walked into the building to pay for this differential, it started pouring. Good times. It's It's a 94 S10, and I took the option list in the S10 that's in the glove box. The only one I recognized was the G80, which would be a posi track. I'm not sure if that's the old Gov Bomb or not, but whatever it is, it's better than an open diff. Save it, haters. It was a total win.
Later that night.
I've already welded up one of the motor mounts. So now what I'm doing is I gotta lift the engine up, get it where I want it as far as elevation from the oil pan to the cross member, about 1.5 inches, 2 inches maybe. And then I gotta level it, make sure that it matches the car. Once I get that done, I can burn in the one motor mount. I'm just gonna tack it in. Once that is positioned, then I can start on the driver's side motor mount. Once we get all that done, and I get it bolted down, and I might even burn them in. But once I get that done, then I'm going to go and start on that rear end that I just picked up and basically start over. Luckily, there's not a whole lot of stuff that I need to cut off of this. Leaf spring perches, and that's it. So once I get that stripped down, and I'm happy with that, drop the front on the ground for the first time in ages, push the whole thing forward, and then jack up the back end and drop that rear axle out. This is the second motor mount, the one on the driver's side, the one that I had not started until this evening. This one is not nearly as pretty, and that's very subjective because the other one's not pretty. But, so what I'm doing now is, this side is a bit too tight going in. This side's up against the engine, this is up against the frame rail, and this is too tight. So I've been grinding it down, getting a little bit of clearance, just enough to make it fit in there. And then once I make it fit in there, I'm going to tack weld it in on the plate that I have bolted to the engine, and then this side over here gets tacked onto the frame rail. And once I've got it tacked in, not just a little tiny tack, once I've got it tacked in good, then I will pull the engine and completely burn in both halves on the engine and onto the frame rails. And then in theory, I should be able to drop the engine back in and line everything up and shove a bolt right through here, and boom, have it mounted. So last night did not quite go as planned. No surprise, huh? Part I forgot is that I can't weld very well. You saw where I tacked in everything and put it all together. Well, when I pulled the engine out, my tacks didn't hold on the car side of the engine mounts. I get to do it all over again, but at least the engine's out and I can clean up inside there a little bit better. And I've had some time to think about it and got a couple hours of sleep, thought about what I could have done to make it better. Version 2.0 should be better. As you can see, the engine is still out, still dangling. I never even set it down last night. My welding is very inconsistent. One weld looks completely gorgeous, and then the next weld is the stuff that memes are made of. I'm sure it'll be enough to hold together, just will never be pretty. There's nothing pretty about this car. Need to bend this one back in a little bit, but the tacks held. These tacks held, those tacks held. Now the engine's out on the ground, and I can finish welding all that stuff up, and maybe get the pretty engine bolted in. That'll be so much win right there. even when you're getting a whole lot of wind. You gotta stop and eat. These should be good. Once you got everything welded in and you're happy and you got it all cleaned up, shoot a little bit of black paint, make it disappear, make it look like it's supposed to be there. So we'll give that a few minutes to dry. We'll be ready to go ahead and stab the engine. You guys remember this one, don't you? For those who remember, have been around long enough, you remember this engine is the one that's actually going in the car. I went through it, I didn't rebuild it, but I did open it up, check everything out. Everything looks good. Cleaned up a lot of sludge. Supercharged engines, they run hot. They tend to burn up some oil and build a lot of sludge. The short block is assembled. You can see from here there's no oil pan on it. That's because the pan I was fabricating is actually on this engine that you can't see right now, the one that was in the car. Nothing else is really bolted onto this engine. The heads are just sitting there. It might have a bolt or two on the heads holding them down. No gaskets, obviously. Intake, just sitting on there. Supercharger, I just plopped that on there before I wheeled it over. Still having problems with exhaust. The headers don't want to fit in this car. I'm still not sure what the heck's gonna happen on that. I know on the 4.3 liter and the 350s, guys will put the headers on backwards. They'll put the exhaust on there backwards like that. I've also seen exhaust manifolds bolted on upside down and then a 90 right off of the manifold, and then it goes in front of the engine and then down in front and underneath. That's a lot of BS to route the exhaust, but it's routed. So that's something I'm gonna look into. I've also still have this option. This is the Firebird manifolds, Camaro, Firebird, whatever, F-body. The question is, how much hacking am I willing to do to install those headers into this car? They're made for a Camaro or a Firebird, and they don't fit a Chevette. But I am also going to install this pulley. There's a pretty big difference in size. The smaller wheel is going to turn the supercharger a lot faster, build up a whole lot more boost, and create a lot more heat. Because of this, I may be going with E85. I haven't weighed all my options yet. I need to talk to the tuner, because being that I'm gonna have free-flowing exhaust, no smog equipment, free-flowing intake, I wonder if I can run this pulley. What is it? This is a 3 1/4. I need to find out if I can spin this sucker without an intercooler and not run into a lot of detonation. These M90s are not happy with heat. Being that I'm running a little cooler with the exhaust, hopefully with headers, I might be able to pull it off. If not, then I'm going to have to get different injectors, possibly a different pump or another pump, secondary pump, and run E85. If I run E85, that one, that gets thrown out the window. The oil pan, the 2 motor mount, and then the transmission that's also on the mock block, and bolt all that onto the good engine. The intake is not going on yet. Same thing with the supercharger, put it on top and just a bolt or two. And I think then I'm gonna call it good under the hood. This will be ready for Tim at the cruise end of the Chevette meet. Here we go. Look at this. Yeah, not my finger. Look at it. See that? See the bolt? See that goes to the engine? Now, wait for it. Wait for it. Other side. Whoa, what's that? Boom. For the first time, she's bolted in. Boom. Shakalaka boom. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday, June 12. Check this out. This is a very, 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 very important moment. I want all of you to watch this. Look at this. Finish motor mounts, for the love of God, already. Look at that. She's outside. She's outside, and I finally get to clean. Didn't we just do this? We got to grind off these perches for the leaf springs, smooth off the axle tubes. That way I can take the ones off of the other one and put them on here. You know, the stuff I started about a month ago. Starting over. Do-over. I just got a text about some free tires. Later. Well, I picked up my free tires. Had them mounted and balanced. Everybody kept on telling me Walmart was cheaper. They weren't. The other place was $33 if I remember right, and Walmart was like 54, 53. Yeah. Wasn't happy about that, so whatever. Anyways, somehow I got matching tires. Remember, I bought those Kelly's 195/65 15s. Well, now I got, for the back, I got Kelly's, and they are 215/55 16. Here's the funny part. They're practically the same. The height difference is minimal. This is the 16. This is the 15. And the width is minimal also. I know I said I was going to get all technical and measure and double check and all this, but my inner cheapness took over when I saw free. I accidentally got on Facebook Marketplace this morning, and the very first thing was free tires. I instantly sent the message and asked, still available, and he said, come on by this afternoon and I'll load them up in your truck for you. That's about as free as you can get. One down, one to go. That's it. Okay, here's what we're looking at. I didn't even drop the rear end all the way. And the springs popped out. You done saw that. That's what happens when you shorten the springs. See the spiral shocks? OEM. Those are 1979 installed. Never been taken out. This has been the only one undone. Twice. Well, yeah, twice. So, to drop this rear end, this one and its sister, right here, and you see I've got it up on jack stands, supported with a reinforced area. with Harbor Freight jack stands. So these trailing arms right here, I'll bolt them right there, both sides, and just swing them down. That's all I really need to do. I say 15 minutes and it's on the ground. We're starting at 7:25. Come on, focus, you stupid. Starting at 7:25. Go. Stupid. Do it this way. Remember before when I said this is the part where I get hurt? Really? Okay. Now, it should be ready to drop out. When I say drop out, I'm really going to drop out. It's not going to come down easy. It's going to fall. I guarantee it. Okay. Keep that together. And that's where we are right now. I have the Chevette rear end up on the bench. I haven't measured it yet. But get ready to measure it all out and go. Okay. Moment of magic. Also, since those videos were taken, I've also gotten some front hubs, 5 leg pieces. You would never know. This rear end was out 2 years ago. Machining work done. 15s up front, 16s in back, and it's sitting like it's supposed to be sitting. If that's the case, if I get all that done, then all I have left to do is toss the interior in and wash the sucker. Today is only the 16th of June. I have until the 9th of July. Of course, I've only got one or two things left. So I will say, like, subscribe, share with your friends, smash that bell icon, and we'll see you next time.